Well, hello. How is everybody? Is everything set up correctly here? Huh. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever you're doing, wherever you are. You ever have so many ideas? It's like having a blank canvas, and you have your palette, your swatch of colors that you can choose from. If you were to start painting, then, oh, that's the right, let's use this color. Wait, I have this idea. If you keep mixing all of the colors together, you'll eventually get a brown. You don't get black, you get brown. And what it would seem to me is if I were to take the flags that people are flying these days and mix them all together, you get a brown color. It sounds like the soil, the earth, the brown of everything. I mean, what is the color of reality? It's not black outer space. It's not. It's not. It's not blue skies. It's not a. What do you see? What do you see most? If you were to walk through nature, what color do you see? You might say green, but that would be seasonal. You look on the ground, it's brown, it's shades of tan. It's the colors you see of living, breathing beings. What kind of? Well, I mean, look at animals. What color are they, generally speaking? Which realm do they? What do you think? I mean, this is hard to qualify because I've never done any. I'm just thinking about it right now. The color of a tree, the color of a melanation. Melanation is not black; it's brown. So you could say black matter, dark. You say dark matter. Really, it's not black matter. It's yeah. So like the color of the rainbow. Put it all together. Everybody's like, hey, rainbow. Everything's. You ever look at the flag that they fly now? The I don't know how many letters are in their anagram these days, but there's only 6 of the 7 colors, and there's actually 9 colors. But well, there's well more than that. But they leave one of the colors out. I wonder why. But if you were to mix all of those together, you would get a certain color. So why not just fly a brown flag? Wouldn't that be the most inclusive color? It really would be, wouldn't it? Because if you have a color, if you're missing one of the 7, and you still got to divide them, why divide up the colors? Why not just put them all together? Go and buy yourself a package of paints and put them on some paper and mix all the colors together. See what you get. It would be brown. So why don't we just all fly dookie brown flags? It's not a white flag. I mean, hey, if you got white toilet paper, wipe your ass with it. What do you get? You eat all these delicious, different color fruits and vegetables and all colors of the rainbow. Shit's still gonna be brown, huh? Hmm. Although I will tell you one time I shit red. Now here's what I thought. I was I was very concerned. I thought I'd blown my asshole out somehow. I thought I ruined something. I thought maybe something exploded inside of me because I'm wiping my ass and it's bright red. And I look in the toilet, it's red. And I was like, I'm bleeding from my ass. I think I'm gonna die today. And so I'm like 20 something. And I'm like calling people like I think it's nice knowing you guys. I think I'm out of here. Then I took a second, a step back, and I was like, oh, you know what I just did yesterday? I ate I ate like 3 cans of beets. Well, it wasn't cans of beets. I made them just beets. That's all I ate. Thus, uh, my poop was bright red. There's no brown in it, just bright red and juicy. I thought it was blood. I thought it was bleeding out my asshole. So, there's a little story. So, but other than that, other than the crimson tides of red blood, I mean, that's a red brown. Dark. If you got dark blood, that's no good. You need a thinner. Your blood should be well, depending on where you live, but the color should be somewhere in a medium red to perhaps towards a pinkish hue, and it shouldn't be. It should be a little more viscous. So what should we talk about? The let's talk about Toronto and these people that are turning. These the people that look like they're melting. The people that suppose they're on TV, they supposedly are the elites. They're governmental systems, and they always look like wax creatures, or they're some out of the Blue Lagoon. I'm melting. I'm melting. There's a couple of them that uh, they're going through what's it called, necrosis. They're turning purple, and their faces are melting off of them. And I'll tell you how they normally fix that. I mean, how they could fix that, but it would. I don't know if they would do that. And it has to do with the Red Cross, the Blue Cross, the Red Cross Blue Shield, or whatever however they call that. It has to do with the blood, taking in blood, and vampiric things. And the reason why vampires can't go out during the daylight, the sunlight, because the sun is changing. Because the sun is changing, becoming hotter. Well, maybe not hotter. I mean, maybe it's hotter to you, but it's changing the frequencies that it's spitting off. And these these certain creatures can't handle that. Why do you think they're trying to put so many things in the sky and cover up the sun and make a fake sun so they could still like live within, you know, if we cover up the sky and put a fake sun there, we can still be here because they can't handle the rays of the original as the sun is changing colors because you've seen it. Anybody here is pretty well aware that years ago, you all remember the sun was yellow. I guarantee you do. And this is not me implanting something ahead. What color would you use when you were drawing the sun? Bright yellow. You looked in the sky, it was a yellow. Everyone knew it was yellow. Go outside right now. Go get the sun. Go do it. Do it. I guarantee it's white. How does that work? Look at what's a hotter light? If you were to burn something, how does that work? What colors? What are the colors? The spectrum. So we would think of it like a blue versus a red. What's hotter? Now you'd say red is hotter because you think of red as fire and blue as ice. But if I make a blue flame, that blue flame is hotter than a red flame. White flame, white and blue are connected in the category of heat, but yet you'd say ice is white and cold is blue. Yet red is supposed to be hot, but they the red skies, Mars. It's a warlike planet. Da da da. I don't know. What's up, Sigma? What you doing? I like what you've done here. So yeah, so as the sun is spitting off different energies, and it's changing where the gases are, the plasma, the frequencies, the energy that comes to the planet. You could, if you think it's heat, that's your body's way of, as we were talking about the other day. If you eat a lot of food and you go out in the sun, you'll feel very hot. Your body's trying to get rid of that, and your body's going through a process of digesting. Digestion is heat. It causes a friction and heat. But anyone I know that when you're more on liquids and you're somewhat healthy, the heat doesn't affect you. It doesn't affect you the same way. And so these people that are consuming lots of heavy things, and the ones that I don't know if they're cold-blooded or if they don't understand what plasma really is, they don't understand what urine is, or if that won't help them, and the fact that they need to consume blood from an outside source. I don't know how that exactly works. Why they haven't figured out they could just drink this. I still don't get that. Excuse moi. Yes, yes, yes. Mm-hmm. So okay, let's get into. I'll continue on the brown thing and the rainbow thing a little bit as we get into. Let's get into. I had so many shows that I wanted to do, but I hadn't finished the thought completely. and one was on Ursa Major, Ursa Minor, the Bear. Um, Russia is connected to the Bear and Ursa, and so is the state of California. Their flag is a bear with a red star. There's a big connection there, and the things that are going on over there with. But then in that red state, you have blue and gold, the Warriors. Blue and gold, the LA Rams, both won championships this year. You got the Golden Gate Bridge right there, and everything that's going on in Cali right now with the fires and Lake Mead. I know it's not in Cali, but it's right there at the. It's giving water to that area, at least in the southern portion. Um, you got the Thames. Well, it wasn't Thames, whatever river it was in France that is dried up that you can walk across now. And you got Toronto just had a huge power outage in the city. Power outage for the city of Toronto? That's a big city. I don't know how many, the claims it was this many people, that many people. I don't know. But, as news gives you a portion of the reality, but not the whole thing, you take it with a grain of salt. Um, but it does kind of appear because here it is. You can still go to YouTube and all these other channels and find normal people going, look at this is okay, this is what's happening. It's not exactly what they're saying, but the lake is still dried up. The Lake Mead is getting lower. The river it's hot in Europe. And I talked to some people over there, like, yeah, it's a lot hotter than it used to be. So yeah, there's some things going on. And the fact that Toronto, the grid in Toronto, we've been telling you guys. What is it? It's August 12th today. Is this right? Yeah, August 12th. Friday, August 12th, 2022, according to the Gregorian calendar. August 8th was 8/8. It was the Lionsgate portal. And so there's something to do with Lionsgate, Lions, 88 miles an hour, a portal to different dimensions, weird things happening with apparently 88 of the parliament members behind Boris Johnson they just dipped. And then you had the whole Japanese government just quit. The whole thing. You guys don't know this. If you didn't pay attention to my show yesterday, the whole, all of them they just said, okay, we're done. I mean, they're going to install something new, I suppose. I don't, but they're without a government right now. And then to have Toronto and they blamed it on something that it probably wasn't. But the grid, because of the extra amount of energy coming in, this is what happened. This is what happened with all of the capstones, which are capacitors. This is what happened with the plasma, the melting of buildings that people don't understand. You can electrically melt things. Like fire can only do so much, but as soon as you put electricity through it, it changes the amount of heat that's running through something. And you can melt bricks. You can melt buildings. You can fry a circuit board. So if we live on a circuit board and these things that we see as capacitors, if the energy in the system changes and we start pushing more energy through something and it can't handle it, it's gonna destroy the system. And so if it's hotter, people are going to be needing more air conditioning, and we change the levels of the gases in the air. That's going to change something. The way people breathe, the way people consume. A lot of things are happening on purpose, and some are happening just because that's how electromagnetics function. So when these systems, after this portal opens, what's happening? Systems are failing, but systems that you want, that you need, maybe, perhaps. There's a max exodus. I've told you this. There's a max exodus going to happen out of Cali. It's got to happen, or stay there and survive. See if you can. Maybe some people know how to do it. So as these as these power grids start to fail, because they'll have to. If you've never worked with electricity, it's a pretty simple thing to learn the basics of electricity and understand how big a wire can be, how much energy you can put through that wire, what a capacitor does, and how you how you have like basically we can stop energy from going through, but that can make a breaker pop. If that breaker pops, I mean, we're talking shutting down breakers all over the place. Now where's your electricity? Now what's functioning? You shut down power to cities. How are you going to function? You can't pay. You can't. And this is the easy. Just figure it out. Shut down power to cities. How's your card to pay for gas? It's not working, right? And the gas machine might not be working because that's got electricity running to the digital thing. And I'm not sure, but I don't know how you pay. Grocery store. You need some cold items, freezer items. How are you going to pay? And are they going to be cold? Because there's no power going there. So unless people got generators, which still, remember, these generators still need a backup. You got to go get gas for the generator. How are you paying for that gas? Back to, do you have cash? Are they taking cash? Well, they probably take cash, but are they taking the plastic? They can't unless they have a generator. Now they need gas for it. Unless their generator is running on solar power, which is still, that's a whole nother, which, there's nowhere that's running on that. So the system really, I mean, how quickly would people run into what are they doing? How are they functioning? After if the system just starts to overload in places, and if things really blow off and melt things, they can't fix them. They're not going to be. How are they going to have the power to fix the power that they don't have the? You understand? If something, if the breaker, if the capacitor melts, and now there's no power anywhere, where are they getting the power to fix the thing that's broken? Because they're going to need power tools. So unless they're plugged in, where are they plugging them in? Now they need a generator. How they filling that generator up with the gas? You see, it's all tied into that. How are they gonna do it? It's funny. I mean, it's not funny at all, but it's kind of what are you gonna do? You're gonna cry about it. Like I've lived in some cold places where we've lost power. I've lived in some hurricane places that we've lost power. But to lose it for a day or two, most people freak out after about, because they're used to having their phones and all their stuff and their connection to whatever. They after a few hours they'd be a little like annoyed. After a day they'll start to like, what the fuck? And then the next day, how am I set my alarm? Okay, 2 days, 3 days, people lose their shit. If you're not used to not having power on for 3 days, you lose your shit. Now you've lost your entire refrigerator. Oh, everything's gone bad in there. So you lost all your food in there. Okay, now hopefully you got some canned goods, I guess. Yeah, I mean, are you going to work? Is your job open? Because doesn't your job require electricity to? What are you doing? Is it cold where you are? You got a heater? Hopefully you got a fireplace. Does fireplace use wood? Do you have enough wood already? You know, this is not to freak anybody out. I'm just saying it seems pretty apparent that either inorganically, organically, or otherwise, there are upgrades in systems and broken systems that will not be able to handle upgrades. It's called obsolescence. Buckminster Fuller explained it like this: if you really want to change a system, you don't break the old one. You make a new one that is better, and the old one will fail on its own. It will become obsolete. It won't. It will cease to function. I mean, consider this: when's the last time you used a laser disc? When's the last time you used a CD player? Tape deck? That's funny. I had a dream about it. Somebody had this really cool speaker system and a tape deck, and I dreamed about this. I looked at it. I was like, I think they were trying to sell it to me or something. I was like, what am I going to do with that? I don't have any tapes. What am I going to do with this thing? It's pointless. So like all of these systems, they build a new one that's better, more whatever, and the other ones just cease to exist anymore. Some of it is planned obsolescence. I get that part, but as systems are upgraded, the other ones become pointless. What's the point? What's the point of using that system anymore? So hello there. How's everybody doing? Hmm. See, August 12th, we've lucked out. Now we've had only a couple storms. It flooded a little bit over here. And see, it's interesting where I live because right over there, like 3 miles, it could be storming and a mess of water and floody. And then here it's okay, but then over there it's black skies. So it's like very here it's compartmentalized to localized regions. But you know, in other cities that I've lived, it's pretty much the whole thing. It's like just like when the rainstorm, it just like follows Charlie Brown around or whoever those kind of things. Like, but other places, it's like the whole city. So, but if your city blacks out with the whole rolling brownouts and blackouts in your cities, how are you going to function? Especially if it occurs as now we're in the dog days of summer. August is going to be hot for most people. What are you going to do? You got a swimming pool, you got a community pool, you got a, you got charcoal, you got a lighter, you got batteries for your light bulb, for your light bulb, for your flashlight. Yeah. What's and it like the point is like people are, okay, that might happen. There might be these things that break, but they'll fix it. But if the radiant energy of the sun, if the heat or the plasma or whatever, however you want to see the waves, the particle duality, whatever you think's hitting Earth, however this is happening, as these systems break, they're not going to be able to keep up with how to fix them. They're not going to have the resources to do it. They're not going to have the power to do it because they haven't jumped to the other system yet. Like if everything was on, let's just say everything was running on solar power, then they could fix the things that were on connected to the system that has cables and lines to it. But there's not enough of that. So as the system heats up, things are going to break. And what's gonna fix that? Nothing, because they're not going to be able to. I can't get that through people's head enough. Then you have to figure out how to like what is how to survive then. What's up, Lucid Lioness? What are you doing? You're talking about plasma apocalypse. Alpacalypse. A plasma apocalypse. Is that like an alpaca that drinks pee pee? Oh, I want an alpaca. Oh, also for the zombie apocalypse that's about to happen. Hello there. Um, I was looking at this. The longest fence in the world is in Australia, and it's the dingo fence. It's some crazy. I don't know how many miles. 2,000, maybe more. I don't know. It's a fence that keeps the dingoes from the farmlands, and it cuts off a huge part of the country. So there's like dingo country, and then there's and I was thinking like because they'll eat anything, right? Wild dogs. So what we should do is probably put some explosive collars on them that we can detonate somehow. And once the zombie apocalypse happens, let them loose to kill all the zombies. And then once they kill all the zombies, we got to kill the dingoes because they're going to turn into zombie dingoes. Now, what would we do? What would we do locally? Like if we can't import them soon enough to kill all the zombies, what would you do where you live? What kind of animal? What kind of species would just go ahead and you know kill off the zombies? What's up, F10? How's everybody's day going? I think we started off on the right foot here. So we've talked about the plasma. We've talked about systems, electronica systems. Electronica? Oh, I was thinking of J Electronica. I don't know why. Electronic systems. Um, Talk a little bit about Cali. That they're going to be definitely, that system is not going to be working so good. They don't have enough water supply. So France is already there's not like there is like a fine that if you use too much water, they have like a regulation right now that you can only use so much water because it's so hot that we got through that. Europe is super hot, hotter than it's really ever been, I guess. And it's all your fault because you changed the climate because you have a carbon footprint. Yeah, it has nothing to do with the corporations that insisted and made that happen, right? Even if you believe in that, no, it's just because they already knew what was going to occur. It was just for some way to, place blame on the population rather than the corporations that were like, oh, let's get greedy here, and then we'll just blame them for buying the stuff, even though they mind controlled everybody into the fact that they think they need this stuff. Is that carbon? What did I just let out there? Is that carbon? How do I breathe? Is it carbon dioxide or carbon monoxide? Is it any kind of carbon? Huh. I mean, is my foot made of carbon? Am I a carbon creature? Man, I don't know, dude. That seems a little tough. Monitor your carbon intake. What about, so charcoal I can't use? Like, I can't fart anymore? This is confusing, man. What other platforms are you streaming on right now? Just YouTube, just my 2 YouTube channels. I don't have any other platforms. If you tell me which ones to use, I'll link up with them. I just haven't done it because I didn't have an audience there to begin with. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have an audience, so it was too much trouble to like go over there and make one video for that. Because I'm not going to make this video again. You know what I'm saying? So unless I can do this live and put it out, I'm not going to rehash this idea. I mean, I'll go through these ideas again for sure, but like anything that I can, like this with this StreamYard stuff will let me link up and immediately put it through any other system. I just don't have an audience there, so it didn't make a lot of sense. Now I wouldn't care that I don't have an audience. It will build the audience on its own. So just give me a list. Give me a list of other good channels and platforms to use. Like some of them seemed a little worthless, like the ones that everybody uses for like streaming video games and stuff. Like it was fun to do because like my audience could come over there, but to gain an audience didn't it seemed a little silly. Live me. Hold on a second. What about went to your doctor about spine and he was like, why not try medical? Nice. Yeah, man. F10. There you go. That's awesome. Good to hear. Hey, there's lots of people, lots of doctors, lots of people in all sorts of medical fields and other that have just walked away and said enough of this because they knew they didn't want to be part of they didn't want to be on the wrong side of history anymore or heritage or whatever kind of story is being, they didn't want to be over there with the people that are poisoning the population. Good for them. Live me, is that like it sounds like there's a lot of nudity on that channel. So is that like an OnlyFans? I don't know. You're not seeing those comments? Oh, hey Lucid. Oh, here's the thing. Check it out. If you're on my Zen-Atman, you're not going to be able to see the people that are commenting on Zen Alchemist. So there's people in here from Zen Alchemist commenting, and I get to see all of them at once. So you have to be on this. You hear what I'm saying? So you have to be on the same. It would be cool if everyone could see each other's comments, but I get to see, like if I was streaming to 5 platforms right now, I would see all of them, but you'd only see the platform that you're on. You see what I'm saying? Oh, they would pay me? Okay. Pay me this. What do they pay me for? Like per sub for how long I'm on there? Just because I'm awesome? They pay me in bio survival tokens. They pay me in digital currency. They pay me in prostitutes. They pay me in donkeys, goats. I would take an alpaca. They could pay me in an alpaca. All the funds go towards getting me an alpaca. Oh, a lucid lion asks, which one are you on? Are you on my backup? Are you on Zen Alchemist? Or are you on my original Zen-Atman? Because I think the comment that F10 made, I'm pretty sure he's on. I don't know which one he's on here, but I think he's on my Zen-Atman channel. And the way you guys can see it is if I like right now, you can see what's on the screen. So there's you. I'm not seeing those comments. There's you on there. I just pushed that. I could do that every single time. They pay it like Bitcoin or some shit. I mean, I don't know, man. It's a tough call on if that's going to be. You're on the Alchemist. Oh, you're on the Alchemist side. Okay. Well, that's probably why. So Lucid Lioness then is on my Zen-Atman. Okay. Yeah, so F10. Anybody else can't see what you're saying unless they're over there. Most people are probably on my main channel. You know what I need? You know what I need right now? They could pay me in cold beer. The only thing about the economy and the whole system crashing for me would be I like beer, and it'll take me a little while to brew my own. That's the only thing I'll have to just wait on it, and I'll have to drink warm beer. Although I don't mind warm beer. Some people don't really don't like it. They need cold beer. Although if you look into a lot of the warmer climates, how do you think they were drinking beer 100 years ago, 200 years ago? They didn't have refrigerators. They didn't have freezers. As cold as their beer would have gotten is as cold as the water was around their island, or as cold as the water was. That's as cold as they could have gotten it. Other than that, they were drinking warm beer. They let it ferment, and then that's how they're drinking it. Having the luxury of having a cold beer, so that's an interesting thing. It's kind of like so many cultures. Like if you go to Ireland, right, a Guinness, you drink at room temperature. It would be a sin to drink it cold. Oh, look at that! Got one in there. So speaking of beers, I'm gonna go get a beer, a cold one, and you guys enjoy. Hey, and also tell me how loud this is. If I play some music for you, if it's too loud or just good enough. Tell me the level. Now, where was the level on that? Like, as loud as my voice now? Was it quieter? I still can't tell where the levels are at because it doesn't tell me functionally how to, like, I can make my speaker less, but it doesn't necessarily let me know where it is in relation to my voice, or for you guys, for that matter. Like sometimes I'm playing something and it's very quiet for me, and you guys are like, that's too loud. And that was really loud on this side, but people be like, it's not loud enough. So I'm a little confused by that aspect. I need an audio technician in here. This will help. Oh, whoever's there, welcome. See, I would like to put music on behind my voice, but I don't want to be too loud. So I'm gonna try that again. I'm gonna put it on. So here's my options here. I got background music, which gives me the possibility of changing. Where do I change? Okay, here's the level. That's 20. So let's see. Is this changing anything? Like right now, I can't hear anything. How is my voice compared to what's happening? What's up, Gucci Goober? Gucci Goober. Okay, I know I played it 2 different times, but right now, I want it well behind my voice, but loud enough that you guys could hear. It'd be nice if I could hear it, but can you guys right now hear anything? And I know there's a 10-second delay from when I say something and then you got to type. So, what's up, Patrick? Really, Patrick? It was close to my voice. Okay. The group Ott. Nah, I don't know them like that. I feel like I've seen the name before, but it could be like a last name of a football player or something. See, now that volume is higher. Yeah, one of these days I'll figure out how the volume works. Like right now, see, like I can sort of hear it, but before, when you said it was good volume, it was super loud on that. Yeah. I'm still figuring this program out. Electronica. See, now here is this. Answer this right here. If I do this, does it make it lower? Hold up. Like, did the sound get lower right then? Or did it stay the same? Because I lowered the see, I have the volume button where it says where I put the soundscapes sound ape sounds like apes. The same. Okay. Now I understand what's happening here. Kind of. So I can turn this up. I just don't want any echo. Soundscape sounds like apes. The sounds of apes. Hold up a second. Well, what should we get back into? You guys want to chat about music or melody or art, or back into computer systems or electronica works. Switch gears into something else. I don't know. Building futures. Maybe talk about stocks and bonds and corporate structures and what a future looks like. I could give you my idea that I've put out there many times, and how the world could be fixed in a pretty big way almost immediately. The keyboard is purposely effing with you. Let's do this. Okay. You guys want me to get into this? I'll tell you, this is a simple fix for most of reality, and it has nothing to do with getting rid of corporate structures. It has nothing to do with capitalism. It has nothing to do with communism. It has nothing to do with any of the words that you say. With economics, it has to do with all of them. But here's how to simplify the whole thing. I'll tell you, it's pretty simple, and how it works for investments. Because and it gets rid of usury. The number one thing, if all corporations, all of them, they could never be for-profit corporations anymore. You get rid of all for-profit corporations. You immediately put them into status of one of two things. One would be you'd have to eliminate the 501, was it 501(c)? 501(c)? Yeah, I forget the name of the structures. Okay, so you have for-profits and not-for-profits. You have a not-for-profit, a non-profit, and a for-profit. You get rid of all of the for-profit companies and turn them either not-for-profit or non-profit. All of those companies would choose to be not-for-profit. And all you need to know is what companies are non-profit and what are not-for-profit. And here's what you understand about those two kinds of companies. I mean, once you get rid of the for-profit, that means that the idea of making things not the best they could be, making things as planned obsolescence, you would have to change your business model. You'd still do the same work, but it would no longer be done the same way. So in the world of not-for-profit, it means, let me make it simple. I start a company and I call it not-for-profit. Not for profit. It means I can make extra money if it so happens. Not-for-profit says employee A, B, and C are making $100,000 a year. Because it's mine, I'm making $200,000 a year. That's where so there's $500,000. So, and here's the product we're putting out, and this is the cost of it, and this is when this we're just trying to get to this number, so we're all paid. And if you guys like it enough, you'll buy more. And if you do, that's our profit. And then from our profit, we could tell you what we're doing with it, or we'll keep it for ourselves. So you'll know that if you're buying from this company, we have the capacity to fail. And in not-for-profit, you have the capacity to fail and make nothing. That you won't even get back your money that you were supposed to get. In a nonprofit, it means that no matter how much money is made, whatever I put there, if I put $200,000 and they get $100,000, that's what we get across the board. You're buying it, and anything beyond that is already established where that's going. That not non-profit means there's nothing more than what we said we're making. If I'm making this much, that's how much I'm making, no matter what. So that's the only two systems that should be in place. And then, if you do business with that one company, if I pay $1 for something that's worth 95 cents, well, at least that extra nickel will go towards, well, they're going to put that into invest in a new company in the future, or to go to help that, or whatever. Whereas a not-for-profit means hey, they could stand to lose their shoes here, but if they put something out really good, they're going to make a lot of extra money, and they'll probably use that money to invest into something good in the future. Whereas a for-profit company now, which most companies are, the dilemma is as soon as they have a bunch of investors that have put money in, they owe their investors back their money. That's their first primary goal. So how do they do that? They make sure that the product they're giving to you is marketed to you as amazing. And that's a budget. They have to market amazing. That's a budget. And then the secondary part of it is to, well, here's what the product used to be made of. And then they have to lower the cost of making the product. So they either have to find people to make it that are less qualified, or they have to find equipment and materials that are less suitable to do the job, thereby making the profit margin bigger to make their investors more money. Next time, what do? They're gonna now that they've reached that margin, they have to up the cost or lower the quality. That's all they do is up the cost or lower the quality. That's a for-profit business, and that's how it always has worked. That's how it always will work. And if you get rid of that corporation, corpse, it means dead entity. That incorporation, they're inside of a dead entity. If you get rid of that type of corporation, a for-profit organization, you'll fix a lot of problems in the world. A ton. It would still say in the realm of capitalism, if you like that. It'll be closer to something that is more fair, where there isn't somebody making $1 billion and somebody licking a sidewalk. You know what I mean? But everybody would still participate in a system. That right there would fix about that alone across the board. Somebody's like, I don't know how the world fix all the problems in the world. I'm like, I just solved it for you. I promise you that would solve it. Here, run that through your computer systems. I guarantee it works. Guarantee it does. I mean, Patrick, really, yeah. Well, you have the 1099s, and then you have contractors. Yeah, that's see, that's still working under the mindset of a what would you call it, a like somebody is a 100% capitalist. You know, I'm saying to let go of the most of the terms and paperwork, and you know, you can have contractors doing things within, and you have to know that taxes are already um, usury, income tax, inflation, and interest. All taxes are usury. They would just, then what would happen is you'd make a not-for-profit or a non-profit organization that would do the work that the city or state or government agency should have been doing. How many people live in places that the infrastructure sucks or the streets don't get fixed? I thought our taxes were supposed to fix the streets. They ain't building roads. They ain't fixing streets. Now all of a sudden, that money goes away from the people that are just doing nothing with it, and it goes, oh well, I can start a business to do that, and everybody gets involved in. Well, I want a better road. Okay, here we go. I'll fix the roads. But you know what? They're going to be able to do that because now the food doesn't cost so much. There's no subsidizing the food. There's nobody making a huge profit margin on a car that should only cost $5,000. They're selling for $25,000. That can't happen anymore. It would never happen in that economy. So this is you can still have contracting work for people that are like, hey, I don't necessarily want to do one thing. I like doing a lot of different things. Can I contract with your company for 6 months? I'd like to learn this trade, this idea, and that would be contractor work. Still works. Does it get rid of the third party? Well, does it get rid of the greedy, stupid third party? Um, yeah, because then within a for profit or not for profit, people are still we're still in a system, going into a system that gets rid of those corporate structures. There's already people that have a lot. There's already people with a lot of money. Now they're going to have to figure out what to do with it. Then they'll invest wisely in things that will make everyone's life better because they already have enough. So that they've only implored to put it back into the system properly. not to get tax credits, not to make it look like they're doing something for the health of the environment, but because it actually would be. And investors would only invest in the things that it wouldn't be if it's profitable. It wouldn't be if it's profitable. It'd be if it is helpful to the entire collective. This is not collectivism either. In case if you want to, it's close to that. It's closer to that. But collectivism sounds like communism, sounds like socialism, sounds like, yeah, because you don't live in a society. There's no communal anything. And there's no, people just don't know what the words mean anymore. But if you capitalize something, you're good. Oh, where are we there? Yeah, you've been trying to wrap your head around that. Well, I don't think that is going to exist much longer. So, yeah, I could tell you some people to go to if you want to figure that out. It's pretty simple. It's a as a living entity, you own the corpse. You own the dead entity. The dead entity within a capitalism is the way it's called capitis diminutus. I believe I screw the last word up because I'm not very keen on Latin like that because it's a dead language. They say it's a dead language, right? Except it's used in pharmaceuticals, which is that's right, poisons. It kills people, and it deals with corporations, which is dead things. I would just say stop effing with dead bodies. That's how I would. That's how I. But what you're saying is you're talking about your birth certificate, your certificate of live birth, um, securing that bond, which is on the dollar bill. It was fiat currency, which was there was put a bond out on your birth certificate and your capital lettered name, and you became the thing on the dollars. You're worth all that, but it's still it's hoops to go through, and there's more papacy, more paperwork to do. So for me, I could explain it. It just take too long on here, and I'm just not. You'd have to talk to somebody that has done the whole thing. Yeah, it's all. Yeah, that's where the whole thing of like the hippie communities and like, hey, let's get a piece of land, da da da. Let's just I'm not like that. I'm not a hippie like that. I'm all for technology as much as the next guy. I'm not for the way the world's going. No one's at the helm. Technology is running amok. I'm all for robots taking our jobs because we should be working these mindless, inane, ridiculous, um, these mindless jobs, these repetitious jobs. That's what technology and tools are supposed to do. They're supposed to make these tasks that were somewhat redundant make it easier to do, and I'm all for that. Which we need to, which opens up space for people to be creative, to do art, to design new futures, to let their imagination run wild and not be stuck doing a repetitious job all day and become these gotta do got to grind the tools which are the technology which become the robots. I'm all for. I think, but there's got to be a point where we go, okay, settle down. Let's just a robot's a robot. We don't need to look like a human. We ain't going Westworld style. We don't need it to have dexterity of 5 fingers. Give them 8 fingers, but don't give it the skin suit. There's no reason to do that. There's so many things that like. What do you really want to listen to? Um, do you want to go to a bar and have a robot serve you, or would you have an interaction with another being? Would you rather interact with the waitress where she might screw up your order, but at least that's somebody that you get to deal with, you get to work with? Would you rather listen to music that is all electronic? Because I have an analog synthesizer, and I feel like a cheapskate because all I have to do is plug some things in. Sound good? Yeah. Is it analog because I can, play with some knobs and do? Yeah. But Wouldn't I rather hear an acoustic guitar? Absolutely. Would I rather have a human play it or something that sounds so perfect because it's a robot? No, I don't want that. There's got to be. So there's I think we just need. I think people need to slow down and try to have a robot look. Because why are people making robots look human? I think it's mostly dudes trying to make the robot wife because they don't want to deal with what because they don't have connection to their divine feminine nature because they're not emotional and they don't know how to deal with what a woman is emotionally. So they're like, if I just design it exactly the way I want it, that they'll get everything they want. So let's put a skin suit on it. I can have intercourse with it too. I don't have to worry about a baby and he'll do all the dishes. Yeah, like, bro, you lost. You lost. You lost the whole game. Yeah. You've given up on it. No, the support around me. That's what wants to prosper even a little bit. You're thinking about welding? Yeah, man. Go for it. Why not? If that's what I've seen. You have maybe like spot tack welders that are just doing it to frame things together and making a shit ton of money because there's always welders are needed. And then I've seen welders that are doing it because it's art and creative to them. And that's for art creativity. Go for it. Yeah, the feedback. They don't want the feedback loop, but you know, I mean, as someone that understands a larger concept, you would get so bored and you're like, do you remember Coming to America and Eddie Murphy? He has this wife who has been born and bred to whatever he wants, and she's fine as anything. He goes, "Well, what would you like to do? Whatever you'd like to do. But what do you like to eat? Whatever you'd like to eat. So you mean if I tell you to bark like a dog?" Then she starts barking like a dog. Hop on one leg. And she does all this. And he's like, "No, that's great, but no, I want somebody that has a mind of their own, that has feelings, that thinks for themselves, that has a you know, it's a lot. It's a lot. But wouldn't you rather? Would you really want to be surrounded by dead entities and robots? I don't think anybody does. It's like that's sociopathic. That's Cartman. Remember when Cartman had in South Park when he I don't remember why or how. I don't won a bunch of money and bought a theme park or won the theme park or something. But he's sitting there and he goes to the theme park by himself, and they're like, "How could you enjoy the theme park by yourself?" He's like, "Because," and he's just like, "Because he can get on any ride he wants, and he won't even fight Ken and Stan and all that." And like, what kind of sociopathic, psychopathic freak is that? And people want that kind of life. I can't even imagine. Hey, I mean, do we want the struggles of having to deal with completely like weirdos and insane people? No, but the petty annoyances. Yeah, yeah. Well, the petty annoyances. Here's why they come about because people get stuck into the rigmarole, and if I tell the same joke right now, and then all of a sudden, a few years go by, and I'm using the same joke, and I'm doing the same job, and I haven't developed my personality, my being. I don't know anything new. I have no good way of communicating physically, mentally, emotionally. If I haven't developed that, and somebody else, and I don't have the time to, and a woman doesn't have the time to, and so those things will get on your nerves because no one is recreating and becoming new aspects and versions of themselves, then of course that would get tiring. But if we had the time, then people would develop new things. Like one day you'd come home and your wife would be like, "Oh, I learned how to bake a new apple strudel that you've never had before. Like, whoa, that's amazing! And you went off and you got into welding, and you're like, hey, check out this cool bird that I just studied birds all day, and you created this bird, this masterpiece out of right. And then the next day, what do? You find something new, and so you're always becoming a new version of yourself, and so are they. And that way, you don't get stuck and burnt out and you don't become a redundant thing. But people, that's what they run into, that they have to continually do the same exact thing. And that's the system. The system encouraged and designed that. Once you get into understanding, who Henry Ford was and what they were trying to accomplish with the schooling system and making automatons and cogs in the wheel. If you think that's just a song and a joke, it's not. That's really what the design was. So, was it humans that are psychopaths, or was it humans that designed robots that then the robots were trying to make the humans? Well, if anybody's still here, I don't know. I don't know. My internet just decided to go out. Um, you guys still here? Let me do this. If you guys are still here, Alexandra, what's up? What's up, Instance? Um, so let me restart. I'm gonna restart this and come back and like give me. Let me let. I'm gonna let my internet restart. I'm gonna restart my phone. See what kind of problems there were. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. That'll helps me out if you can. That'd be great. I might not have paid my internet bill. That happens. Remember, and there's three rules in this world that I know of. One is enjoy yourself. It's your experience. And if you have such a great experience and you have a overabundance and amount of wealth or energy or whatever, share that with people. And if it's me, that'd be great, especially right now. And if not, whoever needs it. And third, be yourself. Be weird because everyone else is taken. You can't really walk to where I'm walking. Two things cannot hold the same place at the same time. So walk your own path, enjoy yourself, and I will be back on just in just a little bit as soon as I restart my phone and my internet because I don't know. I don't know if this is even working still. So peace out, everybody. Oh, also you can find me on my. You see both of my channels here, Zen-Atman and Zen-Alchemist. And if you need something from me, TheoLuminous, TheoLuminous, that means God Light, at Gmail. And oh yeah, and Linktree. Is that what it's called? It's called Linktree. I think it is. Linktr.ee and then my name. And in the future, they'll have all of my other resources on there. Oh, and I'll put my WordPress on there. WordPress, my Zen Alchemist WordPress, that's from years ago. I'll put that on there, and I'll talk to y'all in a little bit. Bye.